What is up, guys? Today I'm going to be bringing you the second part of this background tutorial series. So let's get straight into it, I guess. So we pretty much finished off here in the first part, and I'm trying to think of what else we can do. There's not really much more we can do besides probably add a slight pattern. So what I'm going to do is come on down to the half black and half white circle down here, click and hold, and then go up to pattern. And if you're like me, you have got a shitload of patterns from like packs and stuff like that. I would recommend going to Rated's pack, which I'll put a link in the description, which is where pretty much all of these came from. So yeah, I'll link his channel, and I'm going to pick this one for the sake of it and change the blend mode to overlay. And as you can see, it gives it a nice effect like that. If you want it more subtle, just change the opacity. I'll put it to about 25. So you can't really tell from there, but when it's on YouTube and it's zoomed in a bit, you can kind of tell. So the next thing I'm going to do is pretty much finish off the backing here, and I'm just going to have that nice dark backing around like that. So all you have to do is select that part. I've already got it done for you guys, and just get a brush about 1750, something like that, and then just brighten up the mood a bit. 775, no, 100. There we go. Alright, so that's good. Now, what I usually do is just Control S every few minutes just to save, because I don't really like losing my work, and I'm just going to duplicate that there. So I like to have it the same color on the edges as it is on the bottom. So another thing I like to do is double click on the layer that has the fade, go to color overlay, and then click on the color, and then click on the background somewhere, which is pretty much that color, and then change the opacity to about 25 or 50. I might do 50 for this one, and then just duplicate it again because it kind of took off there. So yeah, I don't really like to have too much going on the edges and stuff. I like to have it on the top, because that's where people see the most of it pretty much. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the backing. I like to have my stuff all put into groups, so I'm going to make a new group and just say banner. I'm just going to change the caps to banner, make a new layer and just put it in there. I don't know, it's just a habit I have. Before I do that, I'm going to double click on the module and then select the stroke, change the color to white, and then change the blend mode to overlay. So as you can see, it gives it a nice outer glow like that. Select drop shadow, put the blend mode to normal, opacity to 100, turn off use global light, distance to 0, size to about 15, and spread to about 10. And as you can see, that just gives it a nice feeling, as if the module is pushed up out of the backing. So now I'm gonna, where it says banner in the banner group, I'm gonna do the first thing, which is select a text. And this is usually the hardest part of making a background, I reckon, unless you already have it figured out what text you want to use. But I'm going to select my colors to default by clicking on the two squares top left of the color picker, and now I'm going to look for a font. If you're like me, I've got 3,000 fonts. I'll link a video in the description to the Ink Arts video, which I linked in my other tutorial as well, because that's where I got pretty much all these fonts from. And I'm going to choose Bell Gothic Black, and I like to choose nice standish out fonts. So this one's just going to say tutorial, and I think that's actually a decent font for this type of background. And your font kind of determines the feel of the background, I reckon, other than the backing itself. So yeah. So I'm just going to select all of that and change a few settings, put it to smooth, change the text to smooth by clicking there. Come over to this folder here, and there's a few things that you can change. I usually like to mess around with this a bit. As you can see, they look a bit spread apart there, but I think I might leave it like that. This part here kind of stretches the font. I'm going to leave that at 100, and this one here changes the height and stuff like that. So they're all types of things that you can muck around with if you don't like the font the way it is. just down here as well. This is, you can change it from light to bold, italic, and underline, and stuff like that. So I'm just going to leave it the way it is, and I usually like to put it in the middle of the banner, so as you can kind of judge yourself, it's about there. And then what I like to do here as well is, if you run your cursor along here, if you can see the cursor in the video, I like to have it, like I say, there's like a square there, so I like to have it like that gap there will be the same as the gap there between the module and the start of the text. So that'll be about there, I reckon. So yeah, alright, so we have this, and usually for fonts like this, I would move the module up a bit, so I'm going to duplicate that. I'm just going to show you guys, I'm not actually going to do it just because it's a tutorial. So I'd move it up like that, and then move the text up like that, because it's so small, but I'm not going to bother with that because it's just a tutorial. Alright, so what we're going to do now is do a layer style for the text. So I'm going to double click on the text layer down here. First I usually go to drop shadow, and these are just my regular layer styles. Put the opacity to 100, make sure it's black, normal, turn off use global light and put the angle to 90, size 1, spread 100, and you're just going to muck around with the distance there, so I reckon about 2 or 3 is alright. Now I'm going to go to gradient overlay, put the scale to about 150, so all the way up, and then put the opacity down to 25, just so you can see a slight change of colour there. Come over to inner shadow, and then change that to white, change the blend mode to normal, opacity 100, turn off use global light, change the angle to 90, size 0, and with the distance, put that to about 2, and then change the blend mode to soft light, sorry. And yeah. Alright, so that's looking alright. Now, what I usually do is go to outer glow, and you can use this as another drop shadow, but since this isn't as specific as a drop shadow is, I just use it as a drop shadow and use my drop shadow for more important things like that part. Don't even know what I'm talking about. So you put the range to 100 and then put the size to about 10, and this is going to vary depending on the size of your canvas, but for this size they're the best settings, so hopefully that helps you guys out. And as you can see there, it looks really nice, clean. Text looks alright, the backing is alright, not too simple, not too complex, so I think that's looking pretty good so far. Alright, so I'm going to try and keep each part under 10 minutes, but what we can start doing is the circles or the links. I'm trying to think, I might actually put this text in the middle, just so we can do a bit more stuff, and I'm going to change the size so it's a bit bigger. As you can see there, it's not really as big as it could be. So I think 125 would be alright. And I might actually do one more thing which I don't really do. So if you highlight the text and there's a T up here which has a curvy line under it, so you click on that and then go select arc and then change the bend. We'll do that to about 5 or 10, 5 or 3. So 3 looks alright, 3 is good. And now I'll leave it like that. So yeah, that's not looking too bad. The next thing I'm pretty much going to do is have a few little links there and have, I don't even know what I want to have there, but I don't know how this went for so long because I can't even remember what I've done. But yeah, that's pretty much part 2, guys. I hope you enjoy it. Didn't really get too much done, but part 3, part 4, part 5, I don't know how many parts there's going to be, probably about 5 or 6, hopefully 4 or 3. But yeah, I hope this helps you out. 250 likes for the PSD, yet again, even though there's not much difference to it. You can probably do that by yourself. But yeah, 250 likes regardless, and thanks for watching. I'll talk to you guys in part 3, so yeah, stay tuned.